What is email marketing? So essentially, it's sending commercial emails to your clients and prospects, those who have actually signed up to be a part of your email list, and they've given you express permission to receive email communication from you. The key is express permission, right? So we're going to talk about that in a minute, about consent. Your emails inform your readers, they drive sales, and really the big piece is they build a community around your brand. And that's what email marketing is about, building that community and that connection and that know, like, and trust. It's not about sending flyers and sales and marketing and just promote. Building a community and building that lifelong fan of your business. So modern email marketing has really moved away from that really one size fits all mass mailings, promote, here's my flyer kind of focus. And instead it focuses on consent. So getting consent from the reader that they want to be on your list and they want to hear from you. Segmentation, which we're going to dive into a little bit further when we get into best practices, and personalization. That is the new way of email marketing. So I just wanted to share a couple of stats with you guys. Why is email marketing important? Well, first of all, 4.3 billion global email users. Almost everybody uses email. So your customers are using email, and so should you. And this is the stat that I found just as I was prepping for this session. $42 for every $1 spent. That's your return on investment. So it's undeniable, and that's where you want to put some energy of your marketing for email marketing. And if you want to see some more email marketing stats, you can check out Oberlo. That's where I got these stats from. So I really want you to think of your email list as a valuable asset in your business. Your email list is the list of people who have consented to receive emails from you. And that's your list of contacts. And if you think of it, I mean, just a little while ago, we had Facebook and Instagram totally go down, right? How did people during that like 8 hours that it was down, how did they reach their audience? How did they continue to communicate with their audience? And heaven forbid, if you ever have to close your doors because, I don't know, we're in a pandemic, you can still reach your audience because you have a list of contacts. You have your email list. So we really want to be treating our email list like a valuable asset. So let's talk about growing your email list. Ooh, went backwards again. There we go. So first off, we need to collect the email addresses. So a little bit of logistics around that. You use an email marketing platform like MailChimp or Constant Contact. There are tons and tons of them out there. So look for one that's in the right price range for you, one that's easy, user-friendly. MailChimp does have a free option. It just, on the free option, you can't schedule emails. So as long as you're okay with going in and manually pushing send on your emails, then you could work with that free MailChimp account for a really long time. And Constant Contact is listed as one of the most user-friendly. So if you're not super tech savvy, Constant Contact might be a good option for you. So in that email marketing platform, you want your platform to have the ability to create landing pages. Landing page is a one-page website, or a one page within your website where people go and they're going to use in a form, put their name and email address in. And a couple of other ways outside of the internet that you can collect those email addresses. One idea is using a QR code, printing that out and sticking it on your cash register in your store, or putting it on your receipt. Or I know a lot of people, they print out business cards that have a QR code on it that they hand out with their receipts, and they ask people to go and join the mailing list. I've also seen people do that for requesting Google reviews as well. So it's just another idea for you. Or you can go old school and just put pen and paper on your counter in your store, and then you can go manually add their emails and names to your email marketing platform. Trade shows is a great place to get emails, addresses, and get more contacts. And of course, collaboration. Collaboration is really the name of the game in the 21st century in 2022. What other local businesses who serve a similar audience as you, but they're not your competitor, how can you collaborate? How can you get in front of each other's audiences and collect email addresses and followers and fans that way? So just a couple of logistical ways to collect email addresses. I wanted to give you a couple examples of landing pages. Now, I did not make this. I can't take credit for it. You can see the lady's website is there, but she did a really good job. I wasn't going to reinvent the wheel. I liked how she laid it out and how she explained it. And just so you know, everyone is going to be getting a copy of my slide deck. So you're going to be able to take a closer look at some of these examples that I have here in the presentation. So this landing page is a long form landing page. And you can have a short form landing page as well, but a long form is helpful. You always want to start, no matter what kind of landing page you're doing, start with a compelling headline. So this one says, transform your podcast show notes page into a lead generation machine with quick and easy to implement tips. That's a problem that someone's trying to solve, and it states it right there in big, bold font for you. And then you follow that up with a compelling subheadline. And then you want a strong call to action. So you can see she's got a button here, and this is all above the fold. So above the fold means when they land on your website, the first thing that they see, that's above the fold. You want all of this here to be above the fold. This great strong call to action. I want to write better show notes. Yes, I do. They're going to click that button. And then as you go down the page, you can give a description of what they're going to get when they join your mailing list. And you can do a graphic or a mock-up of whatever it is that they're going to receive. We're going to talk a little bit more about what you might give in exchange for an email address. And then you can have a social proof section, a section where you have a testimonial of someone else who has worked with you and sings your praises. And then of course, a little section all about you and your business. So that's one example of a long form landing page. And here are a couple of other examples. This is a short form landing page. They just put their strong, compelling headline and their call to action above the fold, and a little bit of a description about what that person's going to get when they give their email address. In Versace here, they kept it really simple. They did a really eye-catching image that really speaks of their brand. And then they just one simple box to give your email address. And then I threw this one in because it's a real estate agent. It's very a local real estate agent. And she used a longer landing page, but I just wanted to show you can just do a free evaluation as a way to collect email addresses. So how do you build your email list? Now we know how we're going to take the email addresses and the contact information, but how do you get people to give you their email address? First of all, I never want you to buy or rent an email list. That is a thing. It's out there and it's unethical and illegal. You haven't gotten permission to receive to send emails to these people. So never buy or rent an email list. If someone suggests that to you, say no, thank you. So we want to give them a reason to join your list, and that is through offering value. You can offer a resource, like the first example, that landing page, she was offering a resource that gave tips on how to generate leads through your podcast. You can run a giveaway. So they give you their email address and their contact information, and then they go into a draw. You can offer discounts. So this one's popular for retail stores, offering a 20% off coupon code when they join the email list. You can also do a ongoing discount code. So when they join your email list, they are part of the club, and now they get so much off every time they come to the store. Essentially, in a nutshell, you want to add value and be of service in exchange for their email address. Gone are the days of just saying, join my mailing list. Now, it worked for Versace. That's a big company. People want to know when they're having deals on their well-known brand clothes. But that doesn't work for the everyday local business. Join my email list is not, or join my newsletter or join my mailing list is not a compelling call to action. I don't know about you guys, but I'm on a lot of mailing lists. I get a lot of emails, and it's no one's goal to be on another mailing list unless that is like, I am a diehard fan of that company and I want to know everything that they're doing. Then I would be compelled to join their mailing list for really no value in exchange. But nowadays, that is not generally the case, especially if you're still building that brand and that community around your brand. So offering something of value is really helpful. So that could be offering a quote, a free quote. It could be offering a free consult call. Like I said, discounts. The possibilities are endless. So think about how you can add value in exchange for your customer's email address. All right, let's dive into nurture. So they're on you've got their email address. They're on your mailing list. Now what? And my computer has decided to freeze. So okay, so now they're on your mailing list. You want to set a consistent schedule for your emails. You want your readers, your followers, your subscribers to be able to count on your emails. So you can set whatever schedule you're comfortable with. You could do twice a week, you could do once a week, you could do bi-weekly, you could do monthly, you could do quarterly. But what feels good for you to consistently nurture your audience? Obviously, the more often you're in touch with them, the faster that relationship's going to build. And you want to balance that with not over emailing. So now we want to create content in our emails that our subscribers are going to actually look forward to reading. How many emails do you get in your inbox right now that you are not like, oh yes, I got another email from that person? I can bet there's probably not a whole lot. You want to be the one that people are excited to see your email come into their inbox because they know that there's going to be value in there. There's going to be tips. They're going to get to see the behind the scenes of what you're doing in your business. So what can your subscribers look forward to seeing in your emails? So really that's a question I want you to write down for yourself and start thinking about. What reason will you give your subscribers to open your emails? Okay, so let's talk about the content of your emails. What are you actually going to put in your emails? I'm just keeping track of time here. Perfect. So we don't want our emails, like I was saying before, we don't want them to always be a sales letter or a flyer or promote. We want them to be valuable. So telling stories about current clients, a story that you've heard from a current client of how they took what you did or your product and it changed their life or their situation. Or stories of your business, of behind the scenes, featuring your staff or your team members, tips and tricks. And don't be afraid to repurpose other content. You don't always have to make brand new content for every platform you're on. So if you've already created a live video on your Facebook page or on YouTube or on Instagram, you can take the content that you made in that video and reuse it in your email. Now you can either take what you said and type it out as a letter, or you can give a little preview in text about what you talked about on that video and then link to the video and repurpose the content and really double dip. They opened your email and now you're sending them to your social media platform as well. So repurpose your content, definitely. I wanted to talk about welcome emails. Welcome, when they join your email list, it's really great to have an automated welcome email set up in your email marketing platform. And your email marketing platform will walk you through how to do that. But welcome emails actually produce 320% more revenue than any other emails. So take advantage of those welcome emails, because those are the ones that are always almost opened right away. So a welcome email can have a brief greeting in it. You could do a video of a real person like you or your team to really humanize the brand. And then link out to, for example, if you're a yoga studio, link to the class schedule, and other information about your location of your business, and what they can expect from you. What can they expect to receive in their inbox from you going forward, now that they're on your mailing list. Another type of email you can send is a newsletter. And newsletters can come in all different forms. It can just be a written kind of text, mainly text, or it can be text and images and videos. But you can include things in it like guides, blog posts if you blog for your business, any news about your business, testimonials or reviews that you've received, any recommendations, and announcements about your business. And if there's a promotion coming up or a sale, just anything to update them about what's happening in your business. So generally your emails can be text, all text, or it can be a mixture of text and images or text and video. And so that is a general nutshell of the content that you can put into your emails. So next, we're going to dive into best practices. So subject line. Now, if you have done any research on email marketing, you know that subject lines are really important. That is going to be what gets your email opened. The subject line and the preview text. So the little bit of text that they can see in their inbox before they open the email. For your subject line, you want it to be 50 characters or less, and you want it to pique their interest. Don't give it all away in the subject line. And you can A/B test your subject lines. So you can send the same email to 2 different groups, but with a different subject line on for the 2 different groups, and see what type of subject line your audience really responds to. Some audiences respond to subject lines that have emojis in it and like a lot of flowery language. Some want just like the bare bones, tell me why you're in my inbox. So you can A/B test to see what kind of audience you have, and then you can move forward with the one that you know really works for your audience. And I recommend that in basically everything you do in your business. Test, always test. Look at your analytics, look at your open rates, look at your click-through rates in your email marketing platform, and really pay attention to what works. And then use that preview text. That is prime real estate. So most email marketing platforms give you a spot to write your subject line, and then they give you a spot to write your preview text. And if you leave that blank, it might auto-populate from your email. So whatever written in the first couple of lines of the email you sent, or sometimes it shows up as this really weird long URL in the preview text. And why leave that up to chance when you can curate that for them? So use the preview text to give a bit of a preview of what's in the email. It's really great to, you can write like the beginning of a sentence, ... and to read the rest of the sentence, they need to go into the email. So what can you do to give them a little bit of a taste to whet their appetite and get them to click and open your email? Okay, let's talk about email copy. So the copy that you write in the email, the actual email that gets sent to your subscribers. We want to keep the text neat and simple with the main point up front. Don't bury it. Okay, the first sentence or 2 needs to say why you're in their inbox. Catch their attention. Just like when you're writing social media captions, you want that first line of the caption to be a hook. Why should they stop and read the rest of your email? You want to use short sentences with lots of paragraph breaks, so lots of white space, so that it's really easy to skim. When you open an email and it's like paragraph, like multiple sentence paragraph, These days, people are busy. They don't want to open an email and then have to read a novel. And I know that some people have this beautiful creative spirit, that they're such good creative writers. And if people stop and take the time to read what you wrote, they would be moved. And in order to get people to stop and read, we have to make it skimmable so that they can skim it, get the idea, get hooked, and then maybe read a little deeper. So short sentences with lots of paragraph breaks, lots of white space. And you want to write for your audience. So you want to use a tone of voice that your audience will respond to. If your audience is 20-somethings, then maybe you can use a more of a relaxed, casual tone. You can use short forms and slang and stuff like that. And if your audience is a more professional audience, then you want to use more professional language. But you always want to write your copy like you are talking, instead of very robotic and use don't instead of do not, right? Or I can't instead of cannot. That's not how we actually speak. We don't usually walk around saying, do not do that. We say, don't do that. So write like you speak, like you're like a human speaking to a human. So write in that friendly one-to-one style, instead of writing like you are writing an advertisement. And then you use a spam checker. One example of a spam checker is mailgenius.com, and you can send the email to a specific email address through mailgenius.com, and it will check your email and give it a spam ranking to let you know if potentially your email could end up in spam based on certain words that you've used, or images or links or anything like that. So use a spam checker to just clarify whether or not it'll land in an inbox or spam folder. Okay, so here's an example of a letter style email. And I blew it up for you because I wanted you to see the white space. This is one sentence. That's the first paragraph, but it's one sentence. You see all the white space that they've left. This is skimmable, right? I opened this and I was able to figure out real quick what she wanted. And then I dove a little deeper to read because she caught my attention. So just like any marketing material that you create, make sure there's lots of white space so that it is pleasing to the eye and not overwhelming. And this is an example from HubSpot of a newsletter. They gave a little bit of a format template that you can follow. So your compelling subject line, a featured image, or your logo as well. And then you can do some writing. And even in the newsletter, you want to use this same lots of white space. So I know it's been shown here as kind of like one big paragraph, and you want it to be skimmable still. And then you can add images and headlines and buttons as needed if it's applicable to what you're sending, like what you need to say in your email. And another headline and more text, and then of course include your social media links as well. And I wanted to show you an example of one newsletter that you can, like a more visual newsletter. So this Recreation Sports Outfitters, excuse me, went for more of a visual newsletter. So they started out with eye-catching images, and then they're featuring their winter products right now. So then they featured one of their winter coats there. But you can see they've also given valuable resources. So what runners eat before they run, how to rent snowshoes for the winter. So it's not all about promoting their products. It's about serving and providing value in their emails. And this is what makes people want to open their emails. Great, they can see the products are great. What, is there a sale on? And they get these bonus information that makes their life better. So keep that in mind as you're creating your newsletters or just your regular letter form emails. Okay, let's talk about personalizing using segmentation. So remember I was telling you how modern email marketing is now more about personalization and segmentation. So most email marketing platforms have this built-in feature of being able to group or segment your mailing list. So you can group them by demographic, you can group them by geographic, but even better is to group them by their behavior. So previous purchases, what freebie did they opt in for? What resource did they download? If they downloaded the resource, like if they clicked that link in that Recreation Outfitters newsletter, if they clicked the link about snowshoes, then you can segment them into a snowshoe list, and then you can send them more information about snowshoeing because we know that they're interested in snowshoeing. And then this just allows you for better customizing your content. For example, I was working with a digital Main Street client just recently on their email marketing, and they have multiple types of products that they offer, and they want to be able to, and they work with different segments. So like a cannabis sector and an industrial sector. And those two sectors, although they both use their product, they are not the same audience. They don't need the same information. So we were able to group them into a cannabis audience and an industrial audience. And now they get to write emails that are specific for those audiences. And you can use vocabulary, you can use language, and speak to the pain point of that specific audience so that it actually hits home for them. So personalizing is so important. And I didn't put it on here, but you definitely want to make sure you're using those personalizing features in your email marketing platform, where you can use a merge tag that allows you to use the subscriber's name in the email. You want it to say, hello, Shelly. Hi, Shelly. You probably saw that in that example letter email. It was addressed to me. She sent that to her full mailing list. I have a friend who's also on her mailing list. She got the same email and it said, hi, Heather, but mine said, hi, Shelly. Personalizing instead of this mass mailing that you get from a lot of the big brands, because you're building a community around your brand. So I believe this is my last best practice, maintenance of your email list. You want to scrub your list every 6 to 12 months. And what that means is removing any bounced contacts. So any email addresses that don't seem to be active, or they were a typo, or they gave you a fake email address. That happens sometimes. And you want to remove anybody who hasn't engaged with your emails in the last 6 months. So if they haven't opened a single one of your emails in the last 6 months, then you want to remove them. Now, your email marketing platforms usually have the ability to create reports around that. So you can pull a list of everybody who hasn't engaged in the last 6 months. You can pull a list of bounced email addresses, pull a list of anybody who's unsubscribed, and just remove them from your list. Archive them or delete them, depending on the platform that you're working on. And this, the reason for this is because the actual inboxes, the email platforms like Gmail, Outlook, they have an algorithm, just like social media has an algorithm. And it pays attention to when your emails aren't getting opened. It knows that emails aren't getting opened by you on multiple of their users, right? Gmail has multiple people using their platform, and chances are a number of them are on your email list. And it's going to notice that 5 out of 10 haven't opened the emails. And so now it's going to think that your emails are potentially spam. So you want to clean your list up of anybody who's not engaging and anybody who's bouncing, so that the email algorithm can see your emails as valuable. And make sure that you skip that spam or that promotion folder. All right, so I'm done talking, and I would love to hear from you guys. Does anybody have any questions about email marketing? I think Sarah's probably got some she's going to share here.
Yeah, Shelly. The first question that I have, we have recently been moving away from just sending emails promoting our services. We've created different types of content they can choose from to build the community. We want our subscribers to update their preferences so they don't receive unwanted content. But despite sending a few campaigns over a period of months, no one has done this. How do we encourage current subscribers to update so we get fewer unsubscribes with the spammy content feedback?
That is a really great question. And yeah, like you're asking them to take time to go and fill out a form or click a couple buttons to update what list they want to be on with you. And I don't know about you, but sometimes like surveys and stuff, they're not as enticing to want to open or answer. But one way you can get around that, depends on what email marketing platform you're using, is write an email with great content on one of the subjects that you want to put them into a group for. Or you can send an email with all three subjects linking out to blog posts on the three topics that you want to email people about. And then there's usually an automation that you can set up that will tag people when they click on specific links. And so when they click on the link, I'm just going to use that Recreation Outfitters example. When they click on the link for snowshoeing, the system is set up to tag anybody who clicks that link as snowshoe fan. And now you can group those people. So instead of relying on them to go fill out a survey or update a form or anything like that, give them value and then pay attention to the actions that they take.
Perfect. And then another question is, what if you're starting an online business and want to get attention? How would you do so?
Well, there's many ways to get attention in the online space. Great question. Collaboration. Collaborate. Like, who can you work with who, like I said before, is serving the same audience as you, but they're not a competitor. So for example, if you're a yoga instructor and your ideal clients are moms, you could partner with a nutritionist who works with moms and her kids to create healthy lunches. You are not competitors, but you serve the same audience. So how could you work together? Could you create a webinar together? Could you create some kind of event or package your products together? What could you do together to get in front of other people's audiences? That is such, like, collaboration really is the word of 2022. How can you collaborate? I think that is the best way that you can get attention.
Great. And then someone asked, if I'm sending emails from a marketing automation / CRM platform, yet my Gmail seems to be sending it into a junk folder, would a Hotmail, Outlook, or Proton Mail email account prevent or decrease the chance of going into spam?
Can you read that one more time for me?
Yeah, so if someone's sending emails from a marketing automation, such as a customer relationship management platform, yet their Gmail seems to be sending those marketing emails into their junk folder, would a Hotmail, Outlook, or other email accounts prevent or decrease the chance of going into spam rather than the Gmail?
Okay, so I may not completely understand the question that's being asked, but I'm going to walk around this a little bit. So you're using an email marketing platform. I think this is what I understand. You're using email marketing platform and it's sending it from your Gmail address. I think that's what you mean. And it's,
Yeah.
And then as a result,
it seems like Gmail and Google seems to have a lot of blockers is the overall kind of issue. So seeing if other types of email accounts, Hotmail, Outlook, with that getting sent, would it prevent or decrease the chance of going into spam?
Really, my recommendation is to get a custom domain email address. And that's what your emails get sent from. You're less likely to end up in spam that way. Also too, like encouraging your friends and anybody else on the mailing list to open the email and click a link in every email you send. You need to train that algorithm that is in all the email marketing or all the email service providers. So having your friends and stuff opening those emails too, and physically moving it from the spam folder. Whenever it's in, you find your emails in your spam folder, physically move it, use the rules in Gmail and other email platforms to tell it to never send it to spam. And you and anybody else on your mailing list doing those things is going to help to start to train. I'm not sure if I fully answered your question. Sorry, I didn't really understand it completely, but I hope that helps.
Perfect. Another question that we got is, how do you develop the voice for your email campaigns?
Trial and error. So back to that A/B testing, you can, if you really want to get deep with it, you can write the same email but 2 different ways and send it to 2 different groups and see which one seems to really take off for you. And just pay attention to how you speak, but also pay attention to how your ideal client speaks. If you do any Zoom calls or anything like that, like transcribing those calls, I always love transcribing my client calls and then reading and seeing how they speak and what their pain points are. And then, yeah, like literally just listen to how people actually talk. That will help you.
Perfect. Another question we have is, how do you judge the success of an email marketing campaign?
It's a really good question. And it's a little tricky at the moment. I'm still working through this myself, as Apple has come out with a new update that automatically shows emails as opened. So some of the metrics that are showing up in your, say, MailChimp backend is going to show that your emails, a lot of your emails are being opened when they're actually not. So looking at your click-throughs, so how many times people clicked links in your emails is helpful, and just like looking at the actions that you asked them to take in the email and how did it translate on the other side. So did you get more views on that video you asked people to click through and watch? And you just kind of have to like open your scope a little bit more and look at the bigger picture of how things are coming together right now.
Great. A question that we have, which I'm also interested in this answer, is there a specific time of day that you should be sending emails out to clients? Or even, is there a day, like, should you be choosing a weekday rather than a weekend as well?
Yeah, okay, so it's kind of like social media. There's tons of theories out there on what day and time is the best. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. is what I've heard and I've gone with. And test, pay attention to your own metrics, your own analytics, and know when your audience is opening emails. I've also seen stats where if you send your email in the middle of the night, you're more likely to get opened because it's one of the first emails people are going to see early in the morning. So like anything could work for you. There's lots of theories out there, but you're only going to know if you test for your own audience, because everybody's audience is different.
Great. And then almost a follow-up question to that, how many times should you be sending out emails to your clients? So I am assuming once a day is a little bit too much. It starts going into that spam category. But is there kind of a formula, or is it more test and kind of trial and error of how many times to send out, let's say, per week?
Yeah, my favorite thing is to say test. It's so funny. So like I'm on Old Navy's emailing list and they email me maybe multiple times a day. And I do not open their emails and they go into my spam folder. So you know, it's just like anything, too much is too much. I like the once a week, but you could do like 3 times a week. I think daily, depending on your audience and the relationship, I think daily is maybe a little much, and it might even be a little much for you to manage as a business owner. A once a week update, reach out, I think is the sweet spot. But it depends on how much is going on in your business and the relationship with your current clients.
Sorry, one second, Shelly. I'm just going through the questions here. So are there any platforms you recommend to integrate email lists with blog and social posts?
You know what? I'll research that. We'll send that out with the slide deck. I know that MailChimp has that capability, but I haven't researched that for any other platforms myself. So I can't say for sure which one would be best.
Perfect. And then would you say fancy or plain emails?
That's a great question. I actually prefer just that letter email, maybe with one picture. It's, you know, it's like human to human. One human would not send another human a mass-produced, graphically produced email. And I'm all about that human to human relationship that you're building, even if it is like as a brand. And I find that they get opened more, they're less likely to go into spam, right? If it's not too many links, not too many images, and mostly text, and written in that human to human kind of vocabulary. That is my preference personally.
Okay, if anyone else has any questions in the chat, please feel free. Just kind of one question for myself. Are there any metrics used to measure the success of an email campaign? I know our previous presentation around metrics just kind of got me thinking our reply rates, open rates, click rates, increase in referral businesses. Are those all things that you should be tracking on a regular basis?
Yeah, so if you really want to double down on your emails, set up a system for reviewing your metrics. And like I was saying earlier, it's looking at that bigger picture right now. It's not just looking at the numbers in the back end of your email marketing platform, just due to the updates with Apple. So looking at the actions that they took, or did they reply, or are people coming into the store and saying that, oh, I saw your email and I wanted to get right in here. Having your staff keep track of those kind of interactions that they have, and recording it in a Google sheet, an Excel sheet, so that you can then look at that bigger picture and really truly see the results that your emails are bringing.
Perfect. And then how important is the subject line? Because that's kind of the first thing that people will see when they go through. So would you recommend kind of shorter, longer subject lines? How much detail would you put into those?
Yes, subject line is very important. That's usually what gets your email opened, that subject line and that preview text. So about 50 characters, shorter the better. A lot of the email marketing platforms will like give you a little notification if you've written a really long subject line. They're not going to stop you from writing that long. Like it'll still work, it'll still send, but they know best practices and they'll tell you it's a little bit on the long side. So short, sweet, leaves them wondering what's in that email. And you want to make sure that it actually pertains to what's in the email, because there's some dirty marketing tricks out there where they put a subject line that is like, holy cow, this just happened. And then in the email, the email has nothing to do with what was written in the subject line. So we want to have integrity so that when we're training our audience to open our emails, they're actually opening it, finding what they were looking for, because that's what they read in the subject line, and actually getting value from the email. So subject line, 100%. Spend some time testing your subject lines. Like I said, some audiences respond to emojis in subject lines and some do not. They find that spammy. So A/B test your subject lines.
Great, thanks, Shelley. It seems like that's the last of the questions here. I'll just, as I'm giving my concluding remarks, please feel free to kind of post any last minute questions in the Q&A or the chat. But other than that, thank you, Shelley, once again for that amazing presentation. I hope everyone learned some valuable knowledge around email marketing. I know I certainly did. As mentioned at the start of the webinar, this session was recorded and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel in the next week. So please keep an eye out should you wish to view it again. The Small Business Center will also be sending an email with resources provided by Shelley now that the presentation is just wrapping up. If you haven't done so already, there's still lots of time to register for the final session of this series, Stand Out with Inspiring Visuals. This will cover everything you need to know around audience engagement, virtual presentation tips, and how to be part of the presentation. So without further ado, thank you all, and we hope to see you next week.